What challenges do we face when we take capital from outside of the United States? This is a great question because a lot of people have foreign connections and they want to bring capital into the United States. Now, these are for investments that are being organized in the United States. It's not about where you're going to deploy the capital. You could organize a limited liability company here in the United States, deploy the capital in another country. That's still a United States deal because the deal is being organized here. But there are a lot of people that have relationships in Asian countries and other different places, Middle Eastern, South American, different places, European countries, and they want to bring that capital here to the United States. So how does it work? First of all, it's a lot simpler than a lot of people would think. Number one, when you're doing a private placement, which falls under the category of what's called Reg D, and that's what the attorney code, all of the legal code is. And of course, I'm not an attorney, but that's the way that it organizes. And then inside of Reg D, then all the rules about putting together private placements, that's where you find all this stuff. Well, the international rules for bringing capital in falls under what's called Reg S. So the deal has to be Reg S compliant. And what the government is especially concerned about, the United States government, is avoiding money laundering. Because especially after 9/11, we want to make sure that bad money, dirty money is not coming into the United States, money that's being used through a vehicle. And believe me, the last thing that you need is for any of your money to be, dirty or otherwise accused, because then the FBI will knock on your door in the middle of the night and it would not be pretty. So sometimes it's better to run your money through a broker-dealer because they are in the business of making sure that the money is clean and so forth. But for the most part, assuming that you do know where the money originates from, you can take money in from another country. Now, one thing attorneys will tell you, and I don't know how to guide you on this, and either do they, but you're subject to the rules of the place where the money originates. So if you're taking money from China, you would be subject to Chinese securities laws because countries are concerned about protecting their citizens. And the citizens, whatever money they have, wherever it originates, that's what they're concerned about, not where the money's going, which is into the United States. It's the same thing here. If you take money from California, California needs to see some paperwork about what money you're taking from their citizens. So when you're taking money from China, you have to comply with Chinese securities laws, which I can tell you most of the time people are not in compliance with the foreign laws because they're trying to comply with these laws. And now you've got two sets of attorneys. So that does add a little bit of a layer of complexity, and that's on your conscience about how you want to handle those affairs. But you're supposed to be in compliance with those other countries. And so you take the money out of those other countries. Now, the trick is getting the money from that country into this country, and it moves between banks. As long as the money's clean, the bank does do some checking to make sure that the money originated from a clean place, came here. When I say clean, I'm saying that there's no money laundering, that there's nothing dirty or illegal or illicit happening with that capital. And there's certainly not a lot of ways for us to know. Broker-dealers are in the business of knowing where those things happen. They're in the business of checking, researching, and doing those things. I don't have that training. Most of us who are in the syndication and hedge fund business do not have that training unless we have the broker-dealer background, which most of us do not. So you do have to be a little careful about that. But the money comes into the United States, and under Reg S, basically there's a holding period of about 1 year that you have to hold the securities before you can sell them. And remember, these are not highly liquid anyway, so they're not easy to sell anyway. But they want to make sure that you don't bring the money in for 5 minutes and then buy securities, change it back into cash, and then do something that's improper. And that's really what the Department of Homeland Security is mostly concerned about. So we want to make sure that we're in compliance with the Reg S, which is the 1 year security. You just put a label on there that says, it must hold for 1 year, and then those investors can participate. You want to be very careful when you're dealing with these outside countries because a lot of them, there's a lot of brokers, there's a lot of middlemen, different people that get in the middle of the transaction. And you want to be careful that you're, in compliance with whatever you're doing, that you're not paying fees to people you shouldn't be paying. There probably are a lot of things you need to pay attention to, and these are things you need to talk to an attorney about. So be careful about that. And but you don't have to be worried about taking money from a foreign country. It's certainly possible. It happens every single day. Money's moving around the globe. The world is getting smaller. and you might want to participate in that shrink. As it shrinks, you want to get in on some of the money that's happening as the world reduces and becomes more compact. So this is a great business. Just go out and stake your claim.